Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again for another episode of Hero Worship, the show where I get to talk to you about one of my favourite guitar players, tell you a little bit about them, tell you some of their great records and tracks that you need to check out, and why they are so important to me. Now, I do create custom Spotify playlists for all of these guys, so you can go in the link in the description, check it out, listen to all the music. I'm sure you're going to find something awesome, because this is stuff that has made a huge impact on my life. So episode 1 was devoted to Bumblefoot, episode number 2 was Joe Pass. Now we are looking at something a little bit more country, something a little bit Americana. We're talking about Mr. Jerry Reed, one of my all-time favourite players, and I often say to my wife that when I get old and I retire from the internet, I just want to move out into the countryside, just live in a little hut, have only a nylon string guitar and just play Jerry Reed style guitar. I love it that much. It genuinely is something that really gets me when it's there. So yeah, before we do all of that, I just want to say a huge thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. As you can see from my studio at the moment, we are going through a rough time. We have just bought a new house, and I have a studio at the back of the property, a building for it and everything, but we're having leakage problems with it, so I'm having to deal with all of that. I thought it was only going to take a month. It's probably going to take a good few months, and I'm stuck in this room for a while. You guys have been awesome, so thank you so much for your help and support. As always, link in the description if you want to check me out on Patreon. Anyway, so on to Mr. Jerry Reed. So, Jerry Reed Hubbard. Yes, that's right, Hubbard. Old Mother Hubbard. Not quite as cool a name as Reed, right? But yeah, Jerry was born Jerry Reed Hubbard in 1937 in Georgia. At just 4 months of age, his parents would actually part ways, and we've all been through that. Many of us have been through that. In fact, my parents split at a young age, but we went with one of our parents. Actually, Jerry went through orphanages and the foster system for a while until he was reunited with his mother at the age of 7. Now, of course, many people would consider that a traumatic start to their early life, but Jerry seemed to do fine with it. There were tales of him, running around saying, "I'm going to be a star, I'm going to move to Nashville, I'm going to be a star," when he was a kid, and boy did he get that right. So come 1955, just at the age of 18, I believe, he managed to get a publishing and recording deal with Capitol. So he recorded, this is a really interesting period during Jerry's career, and it's one that is very rarely talked about. You don't find a lot of information about this because no one really considers it to be important, but it did happen. So 55, signed with Capitol, did quite a few recordings, actually, believe it or not, many singles, eventually signing a deal with the National Recording Corporation in 1958. Now, during this period, he recorded songs like Soldier's Joy in 1959. Also, the song Hully Gully Guitar is another one worth checking out. But to be honest, although this period existed in his career, Jerry hadn't really found what he was about. This was a very kind of the time, shall we say. He was fitting in. He was doing the pop music of the day. Now, if you go on iTunes or Spotify, you will find an album called All Time Greatest Hits. Do not, under any circumstances, pay money for this album. It is extremely misleading, because none of the songs on that album are actually what we would consider to be Jerry's all-time greatest hits. It's songs from that era. It's songs from that NRC era of his career. So great if you want to check out these songs, but you won't really recognize it as Jerry and what Jerry is obviously most known for. So from here, eventually Jerry would sign a recording contract with RCA Victor. Now, we're talking about the debut. Let's go for the real debut. 1967's Unbelievable Guitar and Voice. What an incredible name for an album, right? But it genuinely is exactly as the name says on the tin. It's an incredible, unbelievable display of what Jerry was all about. Now, of course, I'm making this video in 2000. I was going to say 2009. It's 2019, right? So this is many years ago. Of course, guitar playing has come a long way from back then, but you have to listen to an album like this in the context of the time. When you listen to songs like Guitar Man that's on this record, nobody had done anything like that before. In fact, Elvis would go on to record this song. This would be an Elvis song later on in his life, and he had some guitar players attempt to play the guitar part the way it should be played, but in the end nothing was sounded right, and they had to fly Jerry Reed in to play it. It's in an outrageously strange tuning, and when you try and learn this one, honestly, you just look at what Jerry's actually doing and you're like, I do not understand what or how you're doing that. It's an awesome one to learn. In fact, let me post a little clip of it.
Jerry, take us a song. Well, I quit my job down at the car wash. I left my mama a goodbye note. By sundown, I'd left Kingston with my guitar up under my coat. I hitchhiked all the way down to Memphis, got a room at the YMCA. For the next 3 weeks, I went on them nightclubs looking for a place to play. Well, I thought my picking would set them on fire, but nobody wanted to hire a guitar man.
So when you check out your typical Jerry Reed compilation album, there will be songs from this album. You're usually going to hear the song US Mail, but actually there are 3 other songs on this album that I think are fantastic and should make it to every single Jerry Reed best of, and that would be Woman Shy, Take a Walk, and Long Gone. Long Gone could be, you know, a Beatles song. It's genuinely that good. I love that song, and the guitar playing on Woman Shy is outrageous, and it showcases, you know, what Jerry would become with a lot of the kind of comedy nature in the way he would write his songs. Genuinely great album from start to finish. Absolutely love it. You should go and check it out. From here, he released Nashville Underground in 1968. Now, again, lots and lots of great songs on here. One that you will expect to see on all compilation albums would be the Tupelo, Mississippi Flash. This is a song that Jerry would write about Elvis. Awesome song, very cool to play actually, because it's played with a capo that moves between frets as between verses. You have to shift it up to change key, so that's kind of cool. And also a thing called Lovers on that album. I would also recommend that you check out Wabash Cannonball. I absolutely love that recording, and listening to Jerry play the melody in the guitar solo section with the accompanying bass line is still to this day one of those things that I'd love to be able to play but can't quite get my head around how the hell you do it. Awesome, absolutely love it. And also Hallelujah, I Love Her So. It's a great cover on that album, well worth checking out. Then we move on to 1969's Alabama Wild Man. Now, I love this album for one simple reason. The song Alabama Wild Man. It may actually be my favourite Jerry Reed recording of all time. It's just got so much attitude to it. The guitar part is just incredible. In fact, you probably hear a little clip of it in the background. It's just an outrageously cool guitar part and unique to Jerry's playing style. You have to really study his technique to understand why things like that are obvious to him to play. I really, really enjoy that sort of thing. And what we're talking about now is we're talking about songs, right? This is the surprise when I talk about an artist like Jerry Reed. People are like, oh, you know, what are his best instrumentals? Of course, Jerry recorded many great instrumentals over the years. Like Strutting or The Claw, there's tons of them, Bluesland, endless instrumentals that are awesome. But actually for me, the coolest part about Jerry's playing is his charisma and his personality. So when I watch him perform, like there's a great recording of him playing Wabash Cannonball actually, and in it, he can just play and talk so effortlessly, and he's engaging with the audience and he's entertaining people. Check this clip out.
As she glides along the woodlands, through the hills and by the shore, hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear them lonesome hobos call. Let's see the mighty combination called the Wabash Cannonball. Ain't that low? I'm gonna pick. Quit out loud me. Here we go.
It's just the way that he can sort of laugh while he's doing things. He's having fun. He's a born entertainer. In fact, here's another clip of Hallelujah, I Just Love Her So, where he just spontaneously throws this little joke in the middle of the recording, and it's absolutely wonderful. The guitar solo is just, absolute bliss. Check it.
I smile at them and say she told me so. That's why I know, yes I know, hallelujah, I just love her so. Hallelujah, I just love her so. I'm gonna pick some, pay attention. Yeah. Watch me. Yeah. I hear her. She's a long knocker. On my door, and in the evening when
So to me, that's who Jerry is. Jerry is the man of charisma. He is the Andy Wood of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? He is all about entertaining people, and that, of course, is why his career went in the direction it did. So we have to think of Jerry as an incredible country guitar player, though, and country fingerstyle player. When you look at the album Jerry Reed Explores Country, you're going to hear a lot of that. He obviously did Me and Jerry with Chet Atkins, and Me and Chet again with Chet Atkins. Not those aren't in order, but these are albums where he's really exploring his guitar playing. But as you go through his discography, you're going to find albums like Better Things in Life, Georgia Sunshine, Cookin', Smell the Flowers, Oh What a Woman, Lord Mr. Ford. There are so many albums. And here's where we get into the tricky thing with Jerry and the path that his career took. For me personally, it gets a little bit Nashville. And what I mean by that is when you study the history of country music, you look at what was popular with the youth. There was a time in country music where outlaw country became extremely popular. So guys like Mel Haggard or Buck Owens, guys like this on the West Coast wanted to rebel against the overly produced Nashville sound that was happening. Lush string sections on all of the recordings, that attitude of like, remember when country music used to be about a man and a guitar, not these, romantic string sections. When I started to listen to outlaw country music, there's definitely a period in Jerry's career where I can listen to it and go, this is that Nashville sound that people don't like. So there's absolutely parts of Jerry's career that I'm just not into. And the further you go with his recordings, you are going to find more and more of that Nashville sound and less of the guitar playing, which is always a shame, but there's still enough great recordings for us to check out. It doesn't mean to say that when Jerry picks up an electric guitar and plays in a more of a band setting that you're not going to have a good time. Songs like I Got the Gold. She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft. That's a great tune. Amos Moses. It's more electric guitar than the solo acoustic fingerstyle thing. Still cool. I do like all of this stuff, but yeah, like I say, there absolutely is there's certainly a period that I'm not crazy on. Later on in his life, he did go back to doing a lot more cool fingerstyle stuff. There's songs like My Gypsy Heart, which was much later on in his career, that I think is absolutely fantastic. So well worth checking out all of those. Now the thing with Jerry is, of course, the more his charisma was shown on television, the more he was in demand on that television scene, the more he became an entertainer instead of a guitar player. Now, there are some wonderful live videos of him during that sort of period, where, for example, performing with Dolly Parton, doing She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft, and he doesn't even touch a guitar, because at that point in his career, he wasn't the guitar player, he was the singer. And that's fine, that's totally understandable. I'm happy that he had that level of success. It led to a career in Hollywood as well. Of course, we probably all know him for performing in Smokey and the Bandit 1, 2, and 3, which of course are classics, and the associated songs that come with that, like Eastbound and Down. That's obviously a Jerry Reed classic. Of course, there was also The Waterboy, the is it Adam Sandler film? I'm sure it's an Adam Sandler film. Yeah, that sounds about right. He's in that. He's the coach in that. So he definitely had a career in Hollywood. But for me, as I say, Jerry's music is all about those early years. So what I'm going to recommend you do is get on over to YouTube and look for as many live videos as you can find of Jerry playing guitar. Because when that man picked up a guitar, an acoustic guitar, nylon string guitar, I should say, his Baldwin nylon string guitar, there was just something magic. And I've never found someone that has that same level of charisma. Never. It's never happened. If you think of the evolution of that style of guitar playing, you have Mel Travis, which sort of evolves into Chet Atkins, and then Chet evolves into Jerry Reed. And there are certainly guitar players that have come after Jerry. You could look at someone like Buster B. Jones and say, well, this is kind of like Jerry Reed on steroids, and it absolutely was. But also at the same time, although he had a personality, it's just no one will ever come close to Jerry Reed and his personality. And there was so much of that in his music. His music absolutely oozed personality. That's what it's about, right? We are musicians. We are supposed to be fans of music, not necessarily just fans of guitar playing. That being said, do not underestimate how difficult some of Jerry's guitar playing is. I've tried to learn many of his instrumentals over the years, and they are just mind-bogglingly complicated. And we're talking about someone that he described himself as a guitar thinker, and I think that often shows when you look at his instrumentals. When you listen to a song like Bluesland, it's absolutely something that has been conceptualized and then applied to the guitar. So he would come up with these ideas and think them out and then work out how the hell you play them on the guitar, rather than being someone that just picks up the guitar and plays. Actually, he wrote many instrumental tunes over the years that he never even recorded. There are a ton of great Jerry Reed tunes that Chet Atkins recorded. Jerry would write them, Chet would record them. To me, that's a shame because, again, Chet's cool, but Jerry is Jerry. He's absolutely the man. So yeah, go dig out as much of his recordings. Check the Spotify playlist in the description. Check all those songs out and dig deeper. Let me know what you think. Of course, I'm here, so hit me up in that comment section. Any suggestions, any of his tracks that you like, any ones that you want to ask me about, I'm always happy to hear them. So lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you, massive thank you. Cannot thank you guys enough for your support over on Patreon. It's been an absolute pain this last month dealing with the new house and the stress of having to work out how the hell am I going to keep making videos. I love making videos. I don't want to stop making videos. I need to get something together. Just painted the wall behind me just so I've got something that I can work with. And to have you guys helping through this whole studio worry is amazing. So thank you very much. And yeah, you can check me out on Patreon actually by just clicking this button up here. Nearly to the wrong side. Support me for as little as $1. Great way to help the channel out, and you get lots of cool stuff in return. Subscribe by clicking this button down here, and you will see 2 more videos here and here. One will be a Jerry Reed video, of course, and one will be a video that I actually did teaching Jerry Reed's claw style. So do check it out. Hit me up in that comment section below. Thank you so much for all of the support, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for another video soon. Laters.